Hi guys, it's Stephen Geekface and I'm back again with another review for yourself here today, which is for the Wonder Woman film 84, aka known as WW84, which is a sequel to the original Wonder Woman film that came out in 2017, directed by Patty Jenkins, who did the first film, starring Gal Gadot, Kristen Wiig, Chris Pine and Pedro Pascal. When this film was announced that they were going to do it, I was skeptical just because of the whole how the story of Wonder Woman had been told in the previous films, and I was very concerned of how this was going to, sit in, because obviously this film is still going to be connected to the DCU universe. So I was a bit confused of where this film takes place and how it makes sense with the other stories. But I saw the trailer, it looked lovely. I love this choice of music. I love where it was going. I love the dresses in the from the trailer. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. Chris Pine's character was back, and I was like, okay, how are they going to explain this? Where is this going? Does this make sense? Why are they doing this? How did they do? The openings film, amazing. Just straight, taking it back to where it originally started with the Wonder Woman series, and just took it there with the certain characters, the action, the music in this film. Hans Zimmer does an amazing job. He can't do wrong in my eyes at this point. There was a particular song, actually two songs that were in the film. One song that was from the film called Sunshine, which I was like, he didn't do that. Why is this here? But okay. And there's another song that was from Batman vs Superman, which is one of my favorite music in the film. And I thought when that music played, there was certain maybe cameos was going to appear, but it didn't. So I was a bit disappointed there. However, the music, I loved it. I can't wait to hear the score again. I'm probably on Spotify or Apple Music. I'm going to listen to it again, but I absolutely loved it. The characters were good, especially, we had the return of Chris Pine and Steve Trevor, and the chemistry between him and Gal Gadot, just as good as the first one. I absolutely loved it. I love what they did with Chris Pine's character, switching around with the whole fish out of water, but it was in a different way because, the character he was the last seen in World War I, and now he's set in 1984, so him seeing the progression since all those years, and he just feeling so excited and the joy in his face of seeing everything change since then. That was a nice different way of doing it. But the chemistry between them, like I said, amazing. One particular scene almost had me in tears. Almost. They just do a really good job, and I could tell that, it just works with them, and we understand why they tried to find a way to bring the character back. So I'm glad they did. New additional characters they brought in. So Kristen Wiig, who plays Barbara, aka Chia, no spoiler guy, did an okay job. I was very skeptical at first. I thought she was going to be like Jamie Foxx from Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Jim Carrey from Batman Forever, but it worked. I really wish there was more scenes with her before she becomes Chia with Wonder Woman, just building like a good friendship, because I didn't think it worked at times. It almost came off like Diana, who's Wonder Woman, didn't even like Kristen Wiig. I thought something was off about when they had scenes, but I really wish they just had more and probably save, where the story goes for Chia later for another film. But either way, she did a pretty good job as well. Pedro Pascal, who plays Maxwell Lord, who's the new villain of this film, he was good. I really love where the story was going. I love that it was a different type of villain, almost like a Lex Luthor at first. The whole businessman in a suit going against someone who's superhuman. People think that worked at some points, and he had a really good scene towards the end. Like, it really worked in the film. Speaking of, Lex Luthor and Superman, I feel like the director, Patty Jenkins, is really trying to channel into, the Christopher Reeve Superman films, with Richard Donner. He really tries to capture the magic from that, and I think it does work in this film, especially his character. And it's refreshing in superheroes, being that type of person who was, save the day, be friendly with the public and then go about our business. We needed that again, so it was nice to see that. The ending was way much better than the first one, which I thought was just horrible. It was just a CGI mess and explosions everywhere. It was very Zack Snyder. But the ending in this one really worked because it wasn't an action scene. It was more of like a conversation, so she didn't just use her powers to save the day. Speaking of action, a lot of people are going to complain the action isn't many in this film. I think from one scene to the other, it's almost a 45-minute wait before the next action scene happens. And when it does, it's a bit overwhelmed. It isn't that great, but it's still enjoyable. I still had fun with it. I feel like a lot of people are going to be disappointed, especially with the action being so good in the first Wonder Woman film. In the film, it's a very negative portrayal of men. And I get what they were trying to do in the film, especially during the time period. I mean, that's probably when, you know, if we had Me Too movement, it would have been crazy back then in those times. But I just felt like it was very exaggerated, and I get probably that's how some women may feel in terms of, you know, when they're walking on the street in the middle in the night or in a club and guys are approaching them and holding their arm and, you know, doing the whole, you know what I'm trying to say. But I just thought at times it was just a bit too much, and the only positive character was just one. I was like, we could have had more compelling male characters in this film, you know, to give it a balance. But I get what they were trying to do. I get what the message was behind it, so I appreciate it. But I just feel like they went a bit overboard. Maybe because I'm a guy and I'm seeing it that way. For women, you might see it in a complete different way and love it and understand, you know, yeah, we get it, this is great, the message needs to be out there. But I just thought they just wish they would have just dialed it a little bit down. The villains sometimes work. They started really well, then towards the end I didn't feel it for them anymore. They just did stuff for the sake of happening, and there wasn't explanation. Certain films, speaking of explaining, the story has a lot of plot holes. Things certain happen. They had the story and it had the beginning and the end, but in between there was just things that was missing out, and I was like, are you gonna explain why that happens and why this particular scene happened? But no, we're just gonna go with the flow. With this film, you've got to really just go with the flow and just have fun with it. It's a typical comic book movie, but I can see why some people are gonna have an issue with the story and certain elements. Overall, I love this film. I thought it was breath of fresh air, especially everything that's going on. It was just nice to watch, you know, a comic book movie. Wonder Woman did a really good job once again. Gal Gadot is amazing. She proves herself once again that she is this Wonder Woman character, and she's here to stay with the big boys, and the reason why she's part of the whole trinity of the Batman and Superman, you know, team. So yeah, she's not to be messed with. For those who are big Wonder Woman fans from even the original TV series from the 70s, stay tuned to the end of the credits. There's going to be a very nice surprise for you guys as well, so definitely check that out as well. But I had fun with this. I'm going to give this film a 7.5 out of 10. Loved it. Didn't love it as much as the I didn't think it was as great as the first one, but either way I loved it, and I can't wait to see where this Wonder Woman series ends up going and where Gal Gadot's going to go with this character. So, have you watched this film? Have you got to watch it with everything going on outside, you know, COVID and lockdowns and cinemas closing? Have you had the opportunity to watch it? Are you going to watch it at home if it comes on streaming or HBO Max or, you know, on demand? Tell me how you're going to watch this film if you haven't watched it. Who's your favourite DC character? Do you think Wonder Woman is your favourite now out of the three? Let me know in the comments down below. Remember to like, share, stay blessed, stay geeked. Bye bye.